Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhatreshu Nitya Bhagavata Seveya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Welcome to this discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. We are right now discussing Canto 1, Chapter 11. In our previous discussion, we completed up to shloka number 19. Today, we will continue shloka number 18. Let us continue from shloka number 19 today. So, in shloka number 16 to 20, we can see Lord's reciprocation with different categories of the people. Let us go to the shlokas. वारामुख्याश्च शतशो शतशो यानैस्तदर्शनोत्सुकाः लसत्कुण्डलनिर्वात खगोलवदनश्रिया. At the same time, many hundreds of well-known prostitutes began to proceed on various vehicles. They were all very eager to meet the Lord, and their beautiful faces were decorated with dazzling earrings, which enhanced the beauty of their foreheads. The palace of Krishna shines with divine splendor as he enters, welcomed warmly by his devoted wives. Our main point is even prostitutes were given entry in Dwaraka. So here we can see that Sri Billa Mangal Thakura, great Acharya of Vaishnava Swami's Vaishnava sect, in his outer household life, was overly attached to a prostitute who happened to be devotee of the Lord. Uh, okay, so it is not that prostitutes may be having a different kind of profession, but they can still be devotee. One night, when Thakura came to Chintamani's house in torrents of rain and thunder, Chintamani was astonished to see how Thakura could come on such dreadful night after crossing a foaming river which was full of waves. She said to Thakura Bilvamangala, thus its attraction for flesh and bone of an insignificant woman like her would be properly utilized. It could be diverted to the devotional service of the Lord to achieve attraction for the transcendental beauty of the Lord. It was a momentous hour for Thakurani. Took a turn towards spiritual realization by words of prostitute. Later, Thakura accepted the prostitute as his spiritual master. In several places of literary works, he has glorified the name Chintamani, who showed him the right path. Now, in this shloka, 9.32, Mami Partha Vipashritya, AP Sve Papa Yonea, Striyo Vaishas Tata Sudras, Te Api Yanti Parangati. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter of me, though they be lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, and Shudras can attain supreme destination. So we see that uh, Krishna gives shelter to uh, Krishna gives shelter to all people, even the downtrodden people, especially in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. The worst type of people are given shelter faster because Mahaprabhu is very merciful. And if you see the last paragraph, it appears that prostitutes of Dwaraka who are eager to meet the Lord were all his unalloyed devotees, and thus they were on path of salvation according to above verse of Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, the only reformation that is necessary in society is to make organized effort to turn into devotees of the Lord. The criterion of advancement of civilization is whether the people are educated and advanced on path of salvation. So Prabhupada makes very important point. Uh, on the other hand, those who are non-devotees have no good qualification whatsoever, however they may be materially advanced. The difference is the devotees of Lord are on path of liberation, whereas non-devotees are on path of further entanglement in material bondage. So this is very critical. A nice point by Prabhupada. Let us go to sloka number 20. Nata Nartaka Gandharva Sota Ma Akada Andina Kayanti Chatam Sloka Charitani Adbudani cha expert dramatists, artists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, and learned speakers all gave their respective contribution, being inspired by the superhuman pastimes of the Lord. Thus they proceeded on and on. Yeah, so we go to the next shloka. There's nothing specific here. भगवांस्तत्र बन्धूनां पौराणाम् अनुवर्तिनां यथा विन्ति उपसंगम्य सर्वेषां मानम् आदरे. Lord Krishna, the personality of God, approached them and offered due honor and respect to each and every one of the friends, relatives, citizens, and all others who came to receive and welcome him. Here, the word yatavidihi, or just as it behoves, is significant. He reciprocates just as it behoves with this different type of admirers and devotees. Prahava abhivada पादनश्लेषकरस्पर्शस्मितेक्षणैः आवास्य चवाश वाक्येभ्यो परैश्चाभिमत्यै विभो. Ultimately, Lord greeted everyone present by bowing his down, exchanging his greetings, embracing, shaking hands, looking and smiling, giving assurance, awarding validation even to the lowest in rank. Kara sparsha, shaking hands. So shaking hands is not something which is unknown to the Vedic culture. It is very well there. So you can see that. Here, Krishna, the one important point is to receive Lord Krishna. There were all grades of population, beginning from Vasudeva, Ugrasena, Gargamuni, the father, grandfather, and the teacher, down to the prostitutes and chandalas who were accustomed to each dog. And every one of them was properly gated by law in terms of rank and position. So we can see that there is no discrimination by law in meeting people from different society structure. Then text number 23. Swayam cha guru virvipray sadharai stavirai api asirve yujyamano nyaya vadibhi Chavista Puram. Then the law personally entered the city accompanied by relatives, invalid brahmanas with their voice, all offering benediction and singing the glories of the Lord. Others also praise the glories of the Lord. Prabhupada is maintaining one important, actually, this entire paragraph is important. Brahmanas in societies were never attentive to banking money for the future retired life. When they were old invalids, they used to approach with their wives the assembly of kings and simply by praising the glories, deeds performed by kings, they would be provided with all necessities of life. Such brahmanas were not, so to speak, flatterers of the king, but kings were actually glorified by their actions and they are sincerely still more encouraged in pious acts by such brahmanas in a dignified way. Lord Shri Krishna is worthy of all glories, and the praying brahmanas and others glorify themselves by chanting the glories of the Lord. So, one important point is that we need to glorify Lord. Then, even the kings are glorified, and we need to take care of old brahmanas. That is very important. Text 24. राजमार्गं गते कृष्णे द्वारकाय कुलस्त्रियः आरुमायामि आरुर्विप्र तदीक्षण महोत्सव. When Lord Krishna passed over the public roads, all the ladies from respective families of Dwarka went up to the roofs of their palaces just to have a look at the Lord. They consider this as the greatest festival. Prabhupada um, makes an interesting point on Akka Vigraha. The transcendental form of Lord installed in a temple is not different from Lord personally. Such a form of Lord is called as Arka Vigraha or Arka incarnation and is expanded by the Lord by his internal potency just to facilitate devotional service of innumerable devotees who are in the material world. The material senses cannot perceive the spiritual nature of the Lord. Therefore, Lord accepts the Arka Vigraha, which is apparently made up of material elements like earth, wood, stone, but actually there is no material contamination. Lord being Kaivalya, one alone, there is no matter in him. So we should not consider the statue, the deity form, to be different from supreme personality of God. He is, Swayam Brajendra Nandana. He is son of the son of Nanda Maharaja. And then one important point, the ladies did not mix with the crowd on the street. Thus, their respectability was perfectly observed. There was no artificial equality with the men. Female respectability is preserved more elegantly by keeping the woman separate from her. The sexes should not mix unrestrictedly. So, from this, it is clear that the women were respected and they were given separate apartments to view the public events. So we need to preserve, keep them separate and preserve them. That is very important. Shloka number 25. Nityam Nirikshamana. This is a very beautiful shloka. Nityam Nirikshamana na यद्यपि द्वारकौकशां न वितृप्यन्ति हि दृशः स्त्रियो दामाङ्गमच्युतम्. The inhabitants of Dwaraka were regularly accustomed to look upon the reservoir of all beauty, the infallible Lord, yet they were never satiated. So, Nityam Nirikshamanana, regularly, always, of those who look at him. So, inhabitants of Dwarka, every day they used to see Lord Krishna, not only women but also men. So there were 16,108 palaces. So the Krishna, before going to Rajya Sabha, will come to one point from where all Krishnas will combine together and go to the Sudharma assembly. This merging of all Krishnas does not happen at the entrance of the palace, but at a distance away, so that queens do not know this. Thus, Krishna gave them the feeling that there is no one important to him, but everyone is important. The queens were thus highly satisfied. In fact, queens were thinking that they were important in life of Krishna. When he is walking on the road, everyone will come and see the Lord. So it is Nityam Niriksha Manana every day. Na Vitrapyanti Idrashaha, never satiated by this. So if you see the in 10th canto, there is a description of Narada Muni viewing. Actually, in the palaces where where Krishna used to reside, or the area of the Dwaraka, different, 16,108 palaces were there. So Krishna belonging to one particular palace is visible to the residents of that palace or the area associated with that palace. He is not visible to anyone else. Only Narada Muni was able to see Krishna in all the palaces because he desired to see that pastime of the Lord. Now Vitrupyanti. Vitrupyanti means satisfied, never satisfied by seeing sight of Lord. This means that when we are waiting for Lord's darshan, it is important for us to wait and have darshan than do any other activities. Otherwise, Lord will feel that this fellow is not interested in me. Especially when the gong cells are blown, we should have darshan of the Lord. Then any duty we can continue afterwards. This could start as a duty and then slowly it will build into eagerness in us to have darshan of the Lord on regular basis. Krishna's beauty never decreases. Initially, when a man and woman are married, there is an attachment between them. Then only they will be able to. So this attachment only helps them to get children, maintain and grow children. At the age of 50, however, the attachment to Krishna should be more for both husband and wife. This attachment to Krishna is ever increasing. This attraction helps us to overcome the material attachment. Example, we come to Mangalarti because Krishna is more attractive than our sleep. When we take sound 6 to 7 hours of sleep by properly planning our sleep, then we will be very able to get up early in the morning. Same way, we need to plan our gradual movement from one ashrama to another. So, if we, whatever activities we have to finish as Grasta, we need to plan in such a way that we are able to wind up things and get into Vanaprastha faster. Okay, so here Prabhupada is making one important point. Anything material seen for a number of times ultimately becomes unattractive by law of satiation. The law of satiation acts materially, but there is no scope for it in spiritual realm. The word infallible is significant here because although the Lord has mercifully descended to the earth, he is still infallible. Anything material is anything material is fallible. So the transcendental name, form, qualities, entourage, etc. are all spiritual manifestation. And there is no satiation in chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no satiation in discussing the qualities of the Lord. And there is no limitation to the entourage of the Lord. So he is source of all and is limitless. It's a interesting shloka. Uh, this shloka from Brahma Samhita is important to understand. Advaitam Achyutam Anadi Ananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayavvanam cha Vedeshu Durlavo Adurlavo Atma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Vacham. So I worship Govinda, Lord Brahma is telling, the primeval Lord who is inaccessible to the Vedas, but obtained by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul. By reading Vedas, it is not possible to understand Krishna. Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, 15 sloka, Sarvasya chaham vidhisannivishta muktah smriti jnana apomanam cha vedeshcha sarve ahameo vedyo vedanta krit vedavid ekaja. Of all the Vedas, he is to be known. But the one who is reading just Vedas, Krishna is not accessible, but he can be easily obtained by pure unalloyed devotion of the Lord. So one of the important method is Shravanam and Kirtan, hear and chanting the glories of the Lord, and then read Srimad Bhagavatam, recite Srimad Bhagavatam. That also is hearing and chanting the hearing and chanting and engaging in service of the Lord. Hearing and chanting the pastimes of the Lord. So when we do that, Adya without who is without a second, who is not subject to decay. So he is not subject to decay. It is doesn't have a beginning, whose form is endless, who is beginning and who is the end, beginning of everything, and he is the eternal Purusha. Yet he is a person. processing the beauty of the blooming youth. So why Krishna is beautiful, and Krishna's beauty is described here. So he is Advaita without a second. Achyutam, he is without decay. Krishna Achyutam is also infallible. So anything material is fallible, and Krishna is infallible. Achyutam, he is Achyutam, he is infallible. That is very important for us to understand. So we'll go to the next shloka. श्रीनिवासो यशोरो यशो यशोरा पाणपात्रमुखं दृशां बहावलोकपालानां सारङ्गानां पदाम्बुजम् श्रियो निवास यस्य पुरपानपात्रं मुखं दृशां बहावलोकपालानां सारङ्गानां पदाम्बुजम्. Lord's chest is the abode of God's fortune. His moonlight face is drinking vessel for eyes, which anchor after all that is beautiful. His arms are resting places for the administrative demigods, and his lotus feet are refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing of any subject except his lordship. So Lord's chest is abode of Lakshmi. His face is drinking vessel for ice. His arms are resting place for demigods, and his feet is refuge for devotees. Here, there is one beautiful shloka in from 10th canto, Gopi Songs of Separation. Sarad Udasaye Sadhuja, Sarad Udasye Ja Sadhuja Tata Saro Jodarashi मुषदृशा स्वतर्नाते अशुल्क दाशिका वरदानिगान्तो नेह किं वदः. O Lord of love, in beauty your glance excels the world of the finest, most perfectly formed lotus within the autumn palm. O bestower of benedictions, you are killing the maid servants who have given themselves to you freely without any price. Isn't this murder? Badaha Varada Niganato Nehe Kim Vadaha. So here Krishna showers Amrita Vishaha. Uh, he is giving through his eyes, he is giving um, here the point is showering um, Amrita Varshaha. He is showering the rain of nectar. This is Karu Kataksha, bring back Gopas who died by Kalia poisoning. With his eyes, he boiled the ocean as Ramachandra Jagannatha sees even a small good activity done by the devotees. So, his eyes are full of Karuna Kataksha. It gives full mercy. So, that is why his eyes are very big and beautiful. So, Lord's beauty, your glance, world of the finest, most perfectly formed lotus within the autumn palm, killing men servants who have given themselves to you freely without any price. Isn't this murder? Suratanata. There is one more shloka. Virat Virachita Rishi Duryate Charanam Iyusham Smater Kara Saroham Kanta Kamadam Tirasi Dehina Shri Karagraham. O best of your lotus hand, which holds the hand of goddess of fortune, grants fearlessness to those who approach your feet out of fear of material existence. O lover, please place that wish fulfilling lotus hand on our heads. So, we first saw is Shriyo Nivasha Yashoraha. His chest is a place that is there. Then his hand is held by it will give bestow fearlessness. So he keeps his hand on head of his devotees. Now let us see the next one. Atati yad bhavan ahnikananam tviti gayate tava pasyatam kutila kuntalam shikmukam chate jadamuchikshatam shmakridasham. When you go off to the forest during a day, a tiny fraction of second becomes like a millennium for us because we cannot see you. And when we can eagerly look upon your beautiful face, so lovely with its adornment of curly locks, our pleasure is hindered by our high lids, which were fashioned by foolish creator. So this is talking about the beauty of Krishna's face. Hmm? This is talking about beauty of Krishna's face, and that is like a drinking vessel. So if we go here, Shriyo Nivasha Yasho Raha, this is is the place of good fortune, and his hands are resting place of administrative work. But it's for devotees, his arms are placed on the devotee's head to give fearfulness. And how is his face? His face is beautiful. Okay. So they want to constantly see it with the gopis, they want to see his face constantly, but Creator has allowed it to blink. So they are not happy with the Brahma's creation. Then Shama Miranya Paridam Manamali Barha Dhatu Pravalanatha Vesham Ana Petamse Vinyastastam Vitarena Dunanam Abjam Karnot Kapolo Kabjahasam. His complexion was dark blue, his garment golden, wearing a peacock feather. So, Vanamalya Barha. Barha means peacock, colored with sprigs and flower and garland of lotus flowers and leaves. He was just dressed like a dramatic dancer. He rested one hand upon the shoulder of a friend, and with the other twirled a lotus. Lilies grazed his ears. His hair hung down over his cheeks, and his lotus-like face was smiling. So gopis are praying that Krishna's lotus feet are like Abhay Charnaravinda. His hands are giving boons. He is Varadaraja. Vara means boons and Da means giver. So king of giver of boons. With that hands, it touches our heads. Also, our life will become auspicious. These hands are always holding Lakshmi Mata. That is what we saw in one shloka. Lord's shoulders are providing protection for his devotees. He acts as a protector of Dwarkada. To Jiva, the protection comes from Lokapalas, who are sitting on the shoulders of the Lord, like Varuna, Kuvera, Yama, Indra. Lord's shoulders are protection, providing so it is also glorified. As devotees, we need Lord protection to advance in devotional service. Every limb of Lord's body is glorified as auspicious and they are delicate like lotus. His entire body is Satchitananda Vigraha. So we say in Srimad in Brahma Samhita we say Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. So in this 23.22 we see that Krishna's Tribanga form neck is bent in his neck, hip and lotus feet. Neck is bent only. When we can this type of form we can see only in Krishna. Even in Vaikuntha Narayana form, we will not see this type of bending. So it is not a material pose. Vishnu generally sits up. erect in a asana. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Krishna is more merciful than Rama because he shows his lifted lotus feet. We can see the underside of the lotus feet of Krishna, and hence we will be able to overcome all material miseries just by looking at the lotus feet of Krishna. This rotating of lotus. So here just he is twirling a lotus in other hand. So this rotating of lotus in his hand is tossing everyone's heart. Krishna is indirectly asking the people who are seeing him, Allah, Alaka Kopala, Alaka Kapola, Alaka Kapola, with hair extending over his cheeks. Means he has a very long hanging hair. This adds more beauty to him. So as he moves his face, the hair also moves. So how does this person do? Saparyaga Chukram Akaya Varnam Ashnavidam Shuddham Apapavidam Kabir Manisi Paribu Swayambhu Yatayata Toratan Vyadata Shashvatibhya Samabhya. Such a person must actually know the greatest of all, the personality of God, who is unembodied, omniscient, beyond reproach, without veins, pure and uncontaminated, the self sufficient philosopher who has been fulfilling everyone's desire since time immemorial. So we can see that this just is a place where Lord Mata Lakshmi sits, and his face is full of sweetness. So everybody wants to drink the sweetness of his face by seeing him continuously. Then his hands and shoulders are like protection for him. And the Padambujam, the lotus feet of Lord, is kept in a erect condition, a bent condition. In this form, it is possible to see the underside of the lotus feet, and therefore we are able to overcome the miseries. So that is the most important thing here. We go to the next shloka. सिद्धार्थापात दग्ने उपस्कृता प्रसूनां वर्षे अभिवर्षिता प्रति विषङ्गवासवन्मालया बभौ गणा यथार्कोदुप च अब वै. As the Lord passed along the public road of Dwaraka, his head was protected from sunshine by white umbrella. White feather fans moved in semicircles, and showers of flowers fell upon the road. His yellow garments and garlands of flowers made it appear as if a dark cloud was surrounded simultaneously by sun, moon, lightning, and rainbows. So here, sun, moon, rainbow, lighting do not appear in sky simultaneously. When there is sun, moonlight becomes insignificant, and if there are clouds and rainbow, there is no manifestation of lightning. The Lord's bodily hue was just like new monsoon cloud. He is compared herein to cloud. The white umbrella over his head is compared to sun. The movement of bunch of as fan of the flukes is compared to moon. The showers of flower are compared to stars. His yellow garment is compared to rainbow. So all these activities of the firmament being impossible simultaneous factors cannot be adjusted by comparison. The adjustment is possible only when we think of the inconceivable potency of the Lord. The Lord is all powerful, and His presence, anything impossible can be made possible by His inconceivable energy. So, how does it look? Let us see here. So, there is this yellow umbrella. Lord's bodily hue was like new monsoon cloud. So, this body hue is like new monsoon cloud. And this umbrella over the head is compared to sun. The movement of bunch of air fan flukes is compared to moon. So this is compared to moon. The showers of the flower. People are showering the flowers. All this are compared to stars. And these yellow garments are looking like a rainbow. All these activities are happening because of Krishna's inconceivable energy. So Krishna looks very beautiful in this form, and his form is inconceivable. That is the point here which Prabhupada is making. Now let us go to sloka number 28. Pravistastu griham pitro परिवक्त स मातृभिः पवन्दे शिरस सप्त devaki pramukha mura. After entering the house of his father, he was embraced by mother's present, and Lord offered his obeisances unto him by placing his head at their feet. The mothers were attended by Devaki, his real mother. Krishna shows deep familial love and respect towards his mothers, strengthening bonds of love and affection and care. So Prabhupada is mentioning the seven types of mother: the real mother, the wife of spiritual master, wife of Brahmana, wife of king, the cow, the nurse, the health. All are examples of mother as enjoined by Shastra. Shloka number 29. Taha putram अङ्कम् आरोप्य स्नेहस्नोत पयोदराः हर्ष विहवलितात्मनाः आत्मतत्मानः शिशुचुर्नेत्रकै जलै. The mothers, after embracing the son, sat him on their laps. Due to pure affection, milk sprang from their breast. They were overwhelmed with delight, and the tears from the eyes wetted the Lord. So when Lord Krishna was at Vrindavana, even the cows would become moistened by affection towards him, and he would draw milk from the nipples of every affectionate living being. So what to speak of the stepmothers who are already as good as his mothers. So he interacts with the mothers affectionately, demonstrating his role as a loving son and a divine personality. So this is critical by Shri Krishna. Atavishad Swabhavan Bhavanam Sarvakamam Anuttamam Prasada Patinam Sahasrani Chasodasha. Thereafter the Lord entered his palaces, which were perfect to the fullest extent. His wife lived in them, and they numbered over 16,000. So Krishna is entering the palace. Krishna spends intimate moments with his queens in his inner chambers, showering them with affection and blessings. So that one we can understand here. Prabhupada is mentioned. The full description of these palaces is there in 10th canto. तत्नेयं पतिं रोष्य गणुपाकतं विलोक्य सङ्गतमनो महोत्सवाः उत्साहतुरात् सहस्रनाय सा यत् सहस आसन आसयात् शाकं रते विदित लोचनाः लोच Ananaha. The queens of Lord Shri Krishna rejoiced within their minds to see their husband home after long period abroad. The queens got up at once from their seats and meditation, as was socially customary. They covered their faces shyly and looked about coyly. The queens feel deeply fulfilled and joyful in Krishna's divine company. Their devotion and love for him is constantly increasing. Prabhupada is giving a deep understanding here of the love between Krishna and the queens. But one important point is, according to Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, there was a regular psychological reaction on the occasion. First of all, rising from the seats, although they wanted to see their husband, they were deterred because of feminine shyness. But due to strong necessity, overcame the stage of weakness and became caught up with the idea of embracing the Lord. And this thought factually made them unconsciousness of the surrounding environment. So one important thing is shyness. Shyness is very important. It is like a weapon for women. Okay. So right now in current situation in cities in India and world over, women do not have shyness. That is why that is the reason of increasing crime rates in all cities of the world. Women should be grown in isolation from men, then they will have the shyness, and this shyness uh, gives beauty to women. This shyness gives protection to the woman. This shyness brings very good love and affection between the husband and the woman. So shyness is something which we in women in day-to-day life they have lost it. But when if they come to Krishna consciousness, this shyness can easily come to them and they will look much more beautiful. Their Krishna will be very happy to engage them in his devotional service. Let us go to next shloka, shloka number 32. तम आत्मजय दृष्टिवीर अंतरात्मना दुरंत भाव परे एवरे पतिम निरुदम अभि आहाश्रवत अम्बु नेत्रयो विलजति नाम मृगवर्क्य वैक्लवा. The insufferable ecstasy was so strong that the queens who were shy first embraced the Lord in the innermost recesses of their hearts. Then they embraced him visually, and then they sent their sons to embrace him, which is equal to personal embracing. But, O chief amongst the Bribus, though they tried to restrain their feelings, they inadvertently shed tears. So we can see that they are trying to control their ecstasy. Krishna's presence in his chambers creates a atmosphere of divine love and intimacy, enriching the arts of Krishna's queens. So that is something which we should understand. So in shloka number in the previous two shlokas, Srila Prabhupada discusses the Krishna's expansion into multiple forms to reciprocate with each queen personally and simultaneously. In this shloka, Krishna and Srila Prabhupada elaborates on spiritual opulence of Krishna, and satisfaction derived from devotional service, highlighting the queen's eternal and transcendental relationship with Krishna. So Krishna takes multiple form, enters into the palaces, and then Krishna's spiritual opulence is deriving higher satisfaction from devotional service, and he is establishing the eternal relationship with the queens of Dwaraka. Now, if we go to shloka number 33 also, we can यद्यपि आसो पर्वाशगत रघुगतस् तथापि तस्यां युगं नवं नवं पदे पदे काव्यमते तत् पाद पादाच चलापि यच्छुनिर्न जहाति करिहिच. Although Lord Shri Krishna was constantly by their sides, as well as exclusively alone, his feet appeared to them to be newer and newer. The goddess of fortune, although by nature always restless and moving, could not quit the Lord's lotus feet. So, what woman can be detached from those feet, having taken shelter of them? So, here the point is Krishna, the spiritual opulence and speciality of Krishna's lotus feet. So, that is critical. Prabhupada here is mentioning in Bhagavad Gita, the living beings are designated as Para Prakriti or superior potency. The material elements of Apara Prakriti are inferior potencies. Such potencies are always employed for satisfaction of the employer or the enjoyer. The supreme enjoyer is Lord Himself, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 5.1. The potencies, therefore, when engaged directly in the service of the Lord, revive the natural color, and thus there is no disparity in relationship of potent and potency. So Krishna and his devotees have constant relationship, and this attraction to Krishna gives the potency to the devotees so that they can engage in service. This is very interesting point on this shloka. So we will stop here. Um, we'll take up next shloka, shloka number 34 from our next class. Thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, kripasindhuvayascha, patitanam pavanebhyo, vaishnavebhyo namo नमः। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर प्रेम हरि हरि बोल हरि हरे कृष्णा।